Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at Hack the Box's starting point tier 1. We are going to be doing the Pennyworth machine, which is a VIP, so it does require a subscription. You're going to want to know some basic Linux information, some web information such as IPs and appending ports to those. For Java, you're just going to want to know how to read code, and you'll do just fine with this box. And weak passwords, so pretty much your default passwords such as admin, password, root, tor, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get your box going and then spawn the machine. And once that's done, let's go ahead and get our scan going, as we know that takes a bit of time. Alright, while that's scanning, we'll go ahead and knock out some of these questions. What does the acronym CVE stand for? That's your common vulnerabilities and exposures. So it's right here if you need to pause the video and type that out. What do the three letters in CIA, referring to the CIA triad in cybersecurity, stand for? So that's your confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Alright, so we got our port scan done. What is the version of the service running on port 8080? So that's going to be your Jetty 9.4.39.V20210.325. Alright, so what version of Jenkins is running on the target? So we'll go ahead and do 10.129.156. And we noticed it was running on port 80. Alright, so what I did up here is to append a port number, you just put a colon and then the port number you're trying to connect it to. So normally HTTP is on port 80, but in this case it was on port 8080, so that's why we appended it to the IP address. So in order to get the version, we're going to have to see if the page source shows anything, which my guess is it probably doesn't. Yep, nope. Okay, so let's go ahead and try those default usernames and passwords. So we'll try admin and then password. Nope. Alright, let's try admin and admin. Nope. Okay, let's go root and root. Nope. Root, password. Ah, that worked. Alright, so now that we were able to log in with the default username and password, we can actually see down here in the bottom right hand corner the version of Jenkins that's running, which is 2.289.1. So 2.289.1. Alright. What type of script is accepted as input on the Jenkins script console? So manage Jenkins. So it's talking about scripts. Following currently installed components. Execute arbitrary scripts for administration, troubleshooting, diagnostics. Type in an arbitrary. Okay, so it takes Groovy scripts. So we can actually Groovy. Okay, so we know it takes Groovy scripts, so now we're just going to want to go ahead and see if they have a reverse shell for Groovy. So this is payloads of all things. If you don't have this saved in your bookmarks, you should probably do that now, as it is very good. So we got reverse shells here. This is the cheat sheet. We've got Groovy Alternative 1 and Groovy. So here's Groovy. This is the reverse shell. So we'll go ahead and copy this. Go over here. We'll paste that. Alright, some of the important stuff here is string host, so that's going to be an IP back to us, the port we want to listen in on, and then string CMD, and if you go back here, just seeing if it has anything. Jetty, okay, so looking at this question, what would the string command variable from the Groovy script snippet be equal to if the target virtual machine was running Windows? So that's going to be your CMD, which is right here, .exe, which also tells us that this machine is not running Windows. So let's go ahead and switch that to /bin/bash, and then port 4242 is fine. So let's go ahead and get our IP address. So there's multiple ways you can do that. I use config, ifconfig, if I can spell. And then if you're running a virtual machine, you're going to use this tune 0. So here's the IP address I'll be using, 10.10.15.236. Oop. 10.10.15.236. Another cool thing, if you want, you can do ifconfig tac a and then pipe that to grep, and then tune 0. And your IP address is here. But we don't need to do that. Once you get your IP, you can go here. Just go ahead and, I just cleared the screen with the clear command. Just want to make sure all this is good. So we're going to be listening in on port 4242. So if you're not familiar with netcat, we're just going to do nctac, what is it, lvpn, np, and then we're going to be listening in on port 4242. So just go ahead and hit enter. So right now it's just listening for any commands, and then once we double check this, we got the IP correct, we got the correct port, and we're going to be trying to connect to bash. Let's go ahead and run this, and you can see that it's just trying to listen or execute right now. Let's go back over to our terminal, and we see that we got a connection here. So now I can do who am I. So apparently I'm root right now. So what's the question? The answer to this one was ifconfig. What switch should we use with netcat for it to use UDP transport mode? UDP is going to be TAC-U, if I'm not mistaken. What's the term used to describe making a target host initiate connection back to the attacker host? That would be a reverse shell, which is what we just did. Alright. Now we just got to submit the root flag. So right now you can see that we're actually in the system with ls. You can see we just found a root directory. So if we cd, which is change directories to root, now we can ls again. And now we have flag.txt and snap. And if you're familiar with any of the basic Linux commands, cat is one of those. So we'll just cat flag.txt, and we have our flag here. Copy, hack the box, and we'll see if that works. Alright guys, so that was Pennyworth. It was pretty simple, nothing too difficult. Just getting familiar with how to read code. You can start out with Python, which is pretty common nowadays. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out.